Your money isn't controlled by the economy, inflation, or politicians. It's not ruled by employers, algorithms, or random chance. Whether money flows to you easily or seems to escape your grasp, it's all governed by a spiritual law, metaphysical law. There is just one law that separates those who live in abundance from those who struggle with lack. It's not the law of hard work. It's not the law of saving. It's not even the law of strategy. It's the law of substitution, and this law alone determines if you stay broke or become rich. In the eyes of the Spirit, you can't serve two masters. You can't speak of lack and expect wealth. You can't carry fear and command provision. You must immediately and repeatedly substitute the lie with the truth until truth is the only language you speak, the only rhythm you follow, the only thing you agree with. Your subconscious mind accepts whatever is repeated most often, and it doesn't care whether it's true or false. It will build your life around whatever you say the most. So, if your inner voice keeps saying, "I don't know how I'll pay this," the law will ensure that confusion becomes your reality. But if you declare, "My supply is now visible and abundant," the law rushes to fulfill that word. I'm telling you with absolute certainty, your mouth is your checkbook. Every sentence is either a deposit or a debt. Every phrase is a command or a cancellation. You aren't waiting for a miracle. You're waiting to stop reinforcing lack with your words. The law isn't holding back your wealth. Your words, your vibrations, and your loyalties are. Over the next few minutes, we will burn every lie you've spoken, reverse every word of defeat, and rebuild your financial rhythm from the ground up, not with effort, but with law, not with hustle, but with truth, because the line is clear and the law is final. You are either broke by belief or rich by command. There is no middle ground. There is only agreement. The law of substitution isn't optional or passive. It's not some gentle concept to think about on a rainy day. This law determines whether the spirit you carry shows up as money in your bank account or remains trapped as potential, buried beneath unspoken truth. This law is very clear. You can't think two things at once. You can't serve both wealth and worry. You can't hold a vision of prosperity in your heart while speaking of shortage with your mouth. One has to go. One has to give way. One must be replaced. That is the law. When I say substitution, I don't mean imagination. I mean a decisive replacement. Every time you're tempted to speak about a lack of money, replace it. Every time you feel afraid about a bill, replace it. Every time you want to say, "I can't afford it," replace it. Don't replace it with a wish or a fantasy, but with a spiritual weapon, a declaration forged in truth and backed by law. Let me share the scripture, because you need to understand the spiritual root of this. Joel 3:10 says, "Let the weak say, I am strong." It doesn't say, think it, journal it, or whisper it apologetically. It says, say it, declare it. Replace the visible lie with invisible law, and then live in the rhythm of that law until the lie has no power over you. This verse isn't a metaphor, it's a mechanism. God didn't say, "Let the weak hope they are strong." He said, "Let the weak say, I am strong," which means, let the broke say, "I am rich." Let the unpaid say, "I am supplied." Let the person who's behind say, "I am caught up in divine timing." You simply can't afford, not spiritually, not mentally, not financially, to keep saying the phrase, "I can't afford that." Every time you say it, you tell the law to shrink your world. Every time you agree with it, you choke off your supply. You cut off divine creativity, and you shut down channels you can't even see. The law of substitution demands that the very moment lack shows up, you speak truth in its place. You don't argue with lack or mourn over it, you replace it. The reason many people stay in poverty isn't that they don't want abundance. It's that they refuse to give up the familiar rhythm of lack. Their words are loyal to the past. Their declarations are soaked in memory. But divine law isn't based on memory. It's based on command. The moment you say, "This is mine by divine right," the moment you say, "My supply is permanent and unfolding," the law has no choice but to obey. Why? Because the law doesn't work for the emotional. It works for the consistent. The law of substitution is sacred, surgical, and unstoppable. It doesn't ask how long you've been broke. It doesn't care how deep your debt is. It only asks, what are you speaking right now? Because what you speak now will either break the old cycle or bind you deeper to it. You can cry over the past and stay stuck, or you can replace the lie in real time and rise. So, I'm asking you now, What have you been saying about money that needs to be burned away? What phrases have you let into your life that would bankrupt a king? What joke, what truth, what self-deprecating comment has tied your tongue to the rhythm of defeat? The law of substitution is merciful. It doesn't shame you for the past. It simply asks that you replace it now. Speak truth now. Obey the law now. And the law, like gravity, won't hesitate. It will move. It will pull. It will provide. Because truth spoken consistently is wealth in motion. We must now move from knowing this law to actively using it with fire. It's not enough to know the law of substitution. You must wield it like a sword, like a lightning rod, like the very breath that restores order to a disordered world. You've talked enough about lack. You've declared your shortages, your delays, and your disappointments for long enough. But the law doesn't ask what you've said before. It asks, what will you speak now? You say, money is hard to get. But that's a lie. And as long as that lie lives in your mouth, your world must obey it. What is the truth? Money is my servant, not my master. Say it now. Say it out loud. Say it with rhythm. You don't chase it, you don't beg for it, and you don't worship it. You command it, you draw it, you assign it, you welcome it as a reflection of your own vibration, not the reason for it. You say, I can't afford that. But that phrase is a prison. It locks you into the vibration of not enough. And you are not here to vibrate lack, you are here to vibrate law. What is the truth? If it is mine by divine right, it cannot be kept from me. Say it again. If it is mine by divine right, it cannot be kept from me. You're not asking the universe to bless you. You are announcing that the blessing is already encoded in your name, in your voice, in your divine blueprint. And when you speak, the doors swing open not by force, but by identity. Every time you feel the fear of money rise, every time you feel your breath quicken at the thought of a bill, every time you hear that voice in your mind whispering, there's not enough, you have to act immediately. Don't delay. Don't wait for inspiration. You must replace the lie in real time. Don't let it settle. Don't let it linger. Speak the opposite. Speak the higher law. Speak the truth until the lie is shattered by rhythm. Let me give you the protocol. This is your spiritual method for substitution. Identify the lie immediately. Don't let it blend in. Don't let it pretend to be realistic. Speak its opposite. Not passively, but with power, with volume, with commitment. Repeat the truth 3 times aloud with uncompromising tone and energy. Move on, as though the truth has already been installed. Let me show you how this works. A lie rises up. Rent is coming, and I don't know how I'll cover it. You interrupt that lie. You say, that's a lie. All my needs are met now by divine supply. You say it again. All my needs are met now by divine supply. And a 3rd time. All my needs are met now by divine supply. Then, you walk forward not with anxiety, but with the confidence that the law has been declared and reality must now respond. This isn't theory. This isn't a trick. This is the law, and the law has no emotional agenda. It simply fulfills the command that is spoken most often. It is loyal to rhythm. It is faithful to repetition. And it will reconfigure the entire substance of your life to match your dominant declaration. So, I ask you now, what are your 3 most common money lies? Identify them. Replace them. Rewrite your language in the next hour, not tomorrow. Now, you can't rise above what you refuse to rename. And the renaming begins with substitution. The law is simple but unyielding. You cannot speak like a beggar and receive like a child of God. And once you substitute the lie for truth and speak it until it becomes your new frequency, your wealth will no longer be a mystery. It will be a manifestation. It's not enough to speak the truth only when you're in a crisis. You must speak it in rhythm. Wealth isn't summoned in a panic. It's cultivated with practice. You must stop treating these declarations like an emergency uttered only when the pressure builds or the bills start screaming. That's not mastery. That's fear in disguise. The spiritual millionaire doesn't wait for a financial dip to speak supply. She speaks wealth every morning and every night, because wealth isn't what she chases. It's what she commands. Let me give you a routine, divine wealth structure rhythm that aligns with the law of substitution and plants new grooves in your subconscious mind until it obeys prosperity as easily as your body breathes. Your daily substitution schedule. In the morning, before your feet even touch the floor, before your hands reach for your phone, you say, all channels are now open to receive. This is your wake-up call to the universe. You aren't commanding a channel to open. You're declaring it is already open. This shifts your posture from needing to receiving. You are not waiting for wealth. You are receiving it in divine rhythm. You are not blocked. You are unblocked. Say it 3 times. Say it like a decree. Say it like law. At midday, when the routines of the world tried to pull you into appearances, when you look at a bank balance or feel the familiar fear, you interrupt the pattern and say, I expect lavish increase from the unseen, not a small gain, not an eventual trickle, lavish increase, the kind that defies logic, the kind that doesn't need to explain itself, the kind that comes because law was declared and consistency was kept. Expectation is not hope, it is certainty in spiritual motion, and the law must rush to meet it. At night, before your body collapses into sleep and your soul rests, you speak this final seal. My words of wealth are now forming into visible substance. You are not begging for results. You are claiming form. You are announcing that every truth you spoke that day has been recorded, received, and is now materializing in ways you may not see yet, but must trust. This is your substitution schedule. It is not a burden. It is your spiritual operating system. And if you follow it without fail for just 14 days, you won't need to ask if it's working. You will feel a new current in your being, not as an emotion, but as a new identity. You will start to walk differently, speak differently, decide differently, because truth has become your default. Let me give you a metaphor. You are not just a child of God. You are the CEO of your divine estate. Every single day, you either fund your future with your words or bankrupt it with your fears. Every hour is a boardroom. Every thought is a transaction. Every sentence is a spiritual wire transfer. You can speak poverty and drain your power, or you can speak wealth and command expansion. But you must choose. You cannot do both. The law of substitution forbids it. So don't wait for your environment to change, command it. Do unwait for the account to rise before you shift your tone. Shift your tone and the account must follow. Don't ask, can I afford to think this way? Ask, can I afford not to? Because I promise you, the person who walks in truth 3 times a day, who obeys the rhythm, who substitutes the lie, who repeats the wealth until it shapes their very vibration, that person cannot remain broke, not because of magic, but because of law, and the law, when obeyed, makes wealth inevitable. You are not here to hope for riches. You are here to speak them into view. If you are still broke, it's not because you are lazy or undeserving. It's because your inner script hasn't changed. You are still repeating the language of lack, the rhythm of survival, the emotional residue of those who came before you. Poverty has become an identity. That's true, but only because it's been rehearsed. Your subconscious mind, which is loyal and unquestioning, has simply obeyed every line you've ever believed. But I am telling you this with absolute divine certainty. You do unto loyalty to generational lack. You don't owe silence just to protect the rhythms of your parents. You don't owe allegiance to the phrases you heard at the kitchen table, in the school hallway, in the echo of unpaid bills. Those rhythms were never divine. They were never law. They were simply learned reactions to a world that forgot its own power. And now, you, the chosen, the awakened, the divinely appointed, you are going to break them. Say it now. I do not carry my ancestors' agreements with lack. Say it again. I do not carry my ancestors' agreements with lack. These aren't just affirmations, they are cancellations. You are cutting the cord. You are ending the generational transaction. You are no longer a vessel for the vibration of defeat. You have to understand, your mind isn't broken, it's trained. And what has been trained can be retrained. The poverty reflex, the tightening in your chest when a bill arrives, the way you shrink when you see someone wealthy, the envy, the fear, the flinch, these aren't your nature. They are learned, and they can be unlearned by repetition. Not emotional repetition, but spiritual repetition. You must replace the family phrases with declarations of law, where they said, money doesn't grow on trees. You say, money grows from divine ideas and flows through spiritual law. Where they said, we're not that kind of people. You say, I am the seed of divine royalty, and my inheritance is abundance. Where they whispered, that's too expensive. You declare, if it is mine by divine right, it is now being delivered without delay. I once met a woman who was tired, heavy, and ashamed of her past. Her family had never known overflow. Their conversations were soaked in scarcity. She told me, I feel like I'm betraying them by wanting more. I told her, you are not betraying them. You are redeeming the line. You are not abandoning them. You are lifting them. And she began, slowly and daily, with fire, to speak prosperity into her own name. She said, I rewrite the family story now. I am the first to declare the truth. Within weeks, new contracts began to appear, new channels opened. Family members even started to comment on her glow, her shift, her peace. You see, she didn't wait for their approval. She reprogrammed herself, and the old pattern dissolved, not through force, but through law. So now you must ask, what phrases do I still carry that belong to someone else? What conclusions about money were handed to me, not chosen by me? What subconscious vows have I made to remain small, to remain modest, to remain broke? Today, you break them. Today, you replace them. Today, you declare with rhythm, my wealth is not inherited from man. It is remembered from spirit. This is the reprogramming. This is the spiritual reversal. You are not here to maintain the old vibration. You are here to replace it with the frequency of law. And when the mind is reprogrammed with truth, the life must obey it. The mind isn't moved by passion, it's moved by pattern. Your subconscious doesn't care if you feel inspired, or if you are desperate. It doesn't respond to tears or longings or even great emotional epiphanies. It responds to rhythm. And rhythm is what builds your new financial identity. Wealth isn't emotional, it's spiritual. And spirit speaks in repetition, in decree, in the daily drill of divine affirmation. So if you want to be rich not just once, not just temporarily, but permanently, you must reprogram your subconscious the way an artist sculpts clay, with pressure, with rhythm, with holy repetition. You must command yourself into wealth. You must declare until the old vibration is drowned out, and the only voice your mind knows is the voice of truth. I'm giving you a wealth rhythm. You will speak these 3 declarations, 3 times a day, for the next 21 days. Morning, noon, and night. No exceptions. No apologies, no skipping because of your mood or schedule. This is your training ground. This is your initiation. This is your covenant in rhythm, your 21-day wealth covenant. Declaration 1. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. You are no longer bound to paycheck logic. You are not limited to what you can see. The law has infinite channels. You don't control the how, you only command the now. This declaration opens the gates. It erases the tension of need and installs the vibration of supply. Declaration 2. I am open to receive what no eye has seen. Let spirit surprise you. Let the divine unfold wealth in forms you never anticipated. Say it until your body relaxes into possibility. Say it until your heart no longer fears abundance. Say it until every cell of your being expects the impossible to arrive as easily as breathing. Declaration 3. I do not chase. I attract what is mine by divine law. You are not a beggar. You are not a scrambler. You are not running toward your provision. You command it. You speak it. You attract it through rhythm, identity, and law. You are the center of divine circulation. You don't chase. You radiate. And what belongs to you must return. 3 declarations, 3 times a day, spoken aloud, not whispered, not doubted, not rushed, spoken as law, spoken as rhythm, spoken as identity. This isn't a spiritual challenge, it's a spiritual replacement. It's your way of telling the subconscious, there is no other rhythm here now. Only wealth, only truth, only divine increase. Think of your mind as a bank. Every declaration is a deposit. Every repetition is compound interest. Every day you skip is a missed credit. And every week you persist is a multiplication of that vibration. The wealth is already yours, but your subconscious must be trained to stop blocking it. The lie must be broken. The pattern must be reprogrammed. And rhythm is the only way. Remember this. The subconscious mind doesn't argue. It accepts. So give it something worth accepting. Give it something that aligns with spirit. Give it something that matches the opulence of your divine inheritance. Speak these words not as hope, but as a command. Not as therapy, but as truth enforcement. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. And the more natural it becomes, the faster the outer world reorders itself to reflect your new wealth identity. This isn't magic. This isn't chance. This is law in motion, and it is moved by rhythm. Now comes the moment of covenant. You've heard the truth. You've tasted the law. But until you commit deeply, publicly, rhythmically, are still a visitor to the vibration of wealth. I'm not speaking to visitors. I'm speaking to those ready to build a house in the land of demonstration, to those who say, I will not leave this rhythm until my world has bent to it. So I'm giving you a challenge, not for your ego, not for performance, but for permanence. For the next 14 days, you will not allow one word of lack to exit your mouth. Not a joke, not a sigh, not a casual comment. You will become spiritually mute to the language of not enough, because it is poison. In its place, you will substitute truth. You will interrupt every doubt with a declaration. You will override every fear with rhythm. You will speak as the wealthy speak, not those who beg, but those who know. Here's your protocol. Each morning before your body moves, you will declare, my voice writes my wealth. Say it 3 times with rhythm, with breath, with finality. This sets the tone. This reminds the mind who is in command. Throughout the day, you will keep a substitution journal. Every time a lack phrase tries to rise, I can't afford this. This is too much. I'll never catch up. Pew will write it down. Then, immediately, you will write its reversal. This is how you train your vibration. This is how you recode the subconscious. This is how you rewire the map of your financial life. Each night, you will close the day by sealing it with this line: I have spoken wealth today, therefore, wealth must now appear. You don't ask, you command. You don't plead, you seal with authority. This is how the master ends the day, not in question, but in conclusion. And for these 14 days, you will do this without fail. No skipping, no softening, no apologies. You aren't doing this for quick money. You are doing this to become unshakable, to become unmovable, to become so faithful to law that even in silence, your vibration speaks. You might say, what if I forget? I say, command yourself to remember. You might say, what if it feels silly? I say, let the old self feel embarrassed. She will soon be gone. You might say, what if I don't see results right away? And I say, the harvest doesn't grow in the same hour the seed is planted, but it grows always, because law is not delayed, only obedience is. So this is your challenge. This is your covenant. This is your contract with truth. And if you complete it, you will no longer ask if the law works. You will become the proof that it does. You aren't becoming rich. You are becoming aligned. You are becoming obedient. You are becoming rhythmic. And that is what turns a word into wealth. Now, we speak the rhythm that writes reality. These aren't wishes. These aren't mantras. These are financial decrees, backed by divine law. Each one is a spiritual strike against the false idol of poverty. Each one is a hammer blow against generational scarcity. Speak them with rhythm. Speak them with breath. Speak them with the finality of one who does not bargain with truth. Say, I am rich in spirit, therefore, rich in form. You aren't waiting for a payment. You aren't hoping for a raise. You are rich because wealth is your nature. You are rich because law has said so. And what is declared in spirit must form in matter. Say, money is drawn to my vibration of truth. You don't hustle, you harmonize. You don't chase, you become magnetic. Truth is your frequency, and money is simply form responding to that signal. Say, I speak only what I wish to see. No more rehearsing debt, no more reporting shortage. Your mouth is a gate, your word is a womb. You will not speak what you do not want to be born. Say, my supply is never delayed, only commanded. The law isn't waiting on the economy, it is waiting on your consistency. Your wealth isn't on hold, it is hovering, waiting for the voice that will not flinch. Say, every word I speak is substance made visible. You aren't just speaking, you are sculpting. You are not just hoping. You are constructing invisible form into physical demonstration. Now, seal it. Because I align with law, I cannot remain broke. Cannot, not, might not maybe. It is a divine impossibility for one who obeys law to remain in lack. If the rhythm is obeyed, the result is guaranteed. This is the rhythm that reprograms. This is the law that restores. This is the wealth you were born to command. If this word entered your soul like fire, if it exposed the lie you've been living, if it shattered the old rhythm of lack, if it stirred something ancient and royal in you, then I say, do not let it pass without making a covenant. Speak now. Write in the comments not for me, but for the spirit in you that is ready to be seen, to be heard, to be confirmed. Write, I align with the law of wealth. Or write your favorite declaration from today's message. When you speak it, you confirm it. When you write it, you seal it. If you felt the vibration of truth here, stay close. Subscribe not as a gesture, but as a spiritual discipline. Let this channel be your upper room, your training ground in rhythm, law, and identity. Don't wander. Let this be your rhythm. Each video isn't content, it's a covenant, it's correction, it's confirmation, and most of all, return tomorrow. Speak again, command again, declare again. The law doesn't require perfection, it requires rhythm. And every time you show up, every time you speak truth in place of fear, you are multiplying your wealth in the invisible. And very soon, it must appear. You are no longer broke. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are commanding. And because you obey the law, you cannot be denied.